Alright. Oh, that's a little bit better. When I was first looking at this on the camera, you couldn't see the darker, the lighter dark blue. It just looked all white because of all the orange washing it out. Ooh. Ow. That was most unpleasant. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second. Okay, I think I'm done sneezing now. Oh my goodness, I am sorry. That was bad. Was fine. Hit go live and everything goes to shit. Alright. Let's see here. So we're going to be continuing on with our Bob Ross project here. And for those that are new, we're felting, we're needle felting along with a Bob Ross tutorial. So we're using fiber instead of paint. You can use wool roving, R-O-V-I-N-G, or you can use acrylic yarn that you have fluffed with a sticker brush. And I went into that a little bit in the last live stream. So I think it was the last one. And those are archived on the YouTube channel. So, let's see here. Alright, so we are following along with Season 3 of The Joy of Painting from Bob Ross's tutorial series, and we are working on Episode 2 from Season 3, called Blue Moon. It is a black canvas of his. So this is the first time I've been trying to do this with one of his black canvas paintings, so it's been interesting. Sorry, I was checking on the husband. Making sure he was okay. Go. Alright. So, we're gonna watch the next part. We're probably gonna move a little bit forward in the tutorial. We're gonna advance it a little bit further than we may necessarily get today, because I saw a little bit of this earlier. Now, I've got such a bad short-term memory, I will watch part of this and then forget what I saw. So, I did remember seeing something where he was blending paint out, and I was like, oh, we need to watch that, because, like, when you're working with a black canvas and oil paint like he does, you know, you can have the black down and then put your transparent color on, and then, you know, put white or something else on top, or put white on top of that transparent color, and it changes the color, and you might not see the change until you blend it out. So we're going to have to go a little bit further, because now we're going to start doing our water area, and he puts in all kinds of waves and stuff, so we need to see what he's doing, because we can't necessarily undo everything after it's done with this. We would have to basically refluff over it and start over. So in an attempt to avoid that, we're going to just kind of look at the tutorial here for a couple of minutes. Okay, so we're here. So he grabs some white, right? And he's kind of laying it in like underneath where the moon is. That's fine. Bit of moon reflect. That's cool. But, okay, so he's taking it down. He took it all the way down. Okay. But then he grabs, okay, he's touching up this line here. He's bringing in some more white underneath really close. Okay, that should be fine. That's not that big of a deal. I have a feeling this is going to turn into a hot disaster. So, okay, so he's got that happening. He's got a bit more line action happening to the left. And he's got some breaks here and there. It's very, like, wispy. So these would be like the breakers rolling in, tops of them. Oh, see, now look what he's doing. He grabbed the big guy. Oh, see? That looks entirely different now, doesn't it? Entirely different. Oh. Oh my.
You just had a bunch of work undone, didn't you?
No, I'm glad I didn't go any further. So, so like I said, we're going to have to watch this a little bit in so we can figure out what on earth is about to happen. So, all right, so he went back in and he grabbed some more white, right? And he's okay, there's some spots where he's trying to put in like the tops of some waves and then like going down into the trough. I don't know how detailed we'll be able to do with that in that tiny of a space. You know, I was a little more confident staring at the finished one. Like, yeah, we can do this. Oh, shit. Well, like I've said before, they can't all be winners. Okay. So then he's kind of setting up for a larger wave down in there. And then he's kind of putting his foamy things on there. Oh, you and that blender brush. Okay. I need to see what on earth he's doing down here, because I don't know if we need to necessarily take this all the way. Okay, so oh, the reflections are gonna get us on this one, aren't they? Oof. Yeah, reflections are hard to do in this and have them look right. This is gonna look like a hot jumbled mess, isn't it? I'm really not so confident now. No ad, no ad, no ad. No ad. That is such a mess down there at the bottom. Okay. Ugh. Alright, okay. I'm just kind of running through here because I want to see. Alright, he puts a stone. I'll put water lines around the stone. He puts in palm trees. Did he not put any more beach in here? For some reason I thought he had. Alright, he's gonna highlight the trees, some grass. Okay, so no, he didn't. Alright, Oh my. Y'all, this is gonna be a thing. Alright, I want to see him blend this out. Alright. So. Oh dear. Fuzz flying everywhere. It's a little dusty in here. We dusted out my computer because I wasn't sure why it was whirring, and that might have been why it was whirring when we were playing Zoo on Friday. So alright, I think we're gonna start out with this shade. This is our Denim Blue. Yeah. So oh boy. I'm scared now because I'm like, I don't know about this. I just don't know. All right. Let's see. We will see. No turning back now. Alright, so I do want to work in smaller amounts here if we can, just so we can try to keep our line thin, especially in the back here. I have like a cotton candy seafoam green, but that totally won't look right here. Alright. Sorry, I just keep looking at this and I'm like, oh, this is not. Once we get, down into the nitty-gritty of it, we'll try. We're gonna try. I don't think this is gonna be a winner necessarily, but we'll try. Oh, I had a larger piece that I pulled off of here. Maybe not. Alright. So we're trying to get this like base light reflected color in here. I don't want to go too bright too quickly. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be careful with what we're doing. So remember when I was saying before, if you go to frame, you might need to do a frame without glass last week. I forgot about shadow boxes. You could probably get these in a shallow shadow box, no problem. And then if you really wanted to get fancy, you could take some felt, some felt base, and needle felt a couple of trees or some grassy stuff, and attach it to the front of the glass, or behind the glass, up against it somehow, or attach it to the frame behind the glass so it can't be seen, just to try to give that a bit of a 3D effect, maybe. Alright, so I don't know about this, Bob. We're trying. We're definitely trying. Can't say that we're not doing that. Okay, I think that was the piece I had pulled off earlier. Alright, so he doesn't really put too much over here on this side, which I find fascinating, but I mean, he is he right-handed? Because I think he's like right-handed people sometimes have an easier time doing their light reflections on the left. Is that what it was? Or do I have that backwards? I don't know. He could be left-handed and I'm just not paying attention, though he's got the brush in his right hand, so I'm thinking he's right-handed. I don't know, for whatever reason he wants that light on that side, so he doesn't seem to put a whole lot of lighter water things over here. Now, granted, we're probably going to have some of our lighter water dipping over into the black past our dark navy denim color. You know, like that should be okay. These are like more of highlighty sections where the water's picking up the dips or the peaks and the waves that are kind of rolling back here. So I'm thinking that won't be too much of a problem. Kind of want to use our ball of fuzz here, since it's not quite committed to a line length. Might be a little bit easier to work with here. I'm gonna try to keep this kind of in lines. We will see how that works out. We're gonna try. I mean, there's definitely a lot of movement back there. We'll see if we can try to convey this without it turning into a total hot mess. Some things are just easier to do with paint than they are with this. So, like I said, this is the first time that we're trying to do, well, that I'm trying to do, a follow along with a black canvas with this. And you can make some interesting things happen with his method of painting with the black canvas. So, we're gonna try. The very bottom, when it gets up to the beach, is gonna be something else. You know, we'll see how that goes. Now we do need to try to get some lighter blue back in here too, because it's kind of closer to our light source. I'm trying to get a few lines in here that are sort of straight. Sort of. Without them getting too out of control here. Well, let's not break the needle. Okay. So. Yeah, got definitely a lot of things happening back in here. I mean, there's minimal dark breaking happening back in here, so I just don't want to go too light too fast. So we're going to be a little bit slower in this section. A little bit more deliberate. As you can see, the thinner amount of, well, the less amount of strands you use, smaller amount of fiber you grab, the thinner it's going to look as you are stabbing it through. Oh, there's my other fluff. It's like, I know I have more fluff. Where is it? It had gotten away from us. So I'm just kind of pulling off little bits of our wool fluff here, our yarn fluff. Alright, so let's see here. Got a little bit more of this in here. So I'm also trying to look at the finished piece, which is what that tiny little square is in the corner of the tutorial. Got my mouse hovering over the play bar because I'm going to need to be more concerned about the final photo at this point than necessarily what exactly, where exactly he's placing stuff at the moment. Like, I need to be aware of both. But I also need to be aware of the final one with this because of how much he like blends stuff out and things. So on this section, like he has a little bit that comes over to this edge, but it's not very much. I have such a hard time doing stabby lines on the smaller pieces. My hand is just like, yeah, no. I have some orange breaking through here. I'm gonna have to do something about that. What? I don't know. Alright. So. I mean, that'll probably get a little bit of a lighter blue popped into there. So I am pulling this a little bit tight. Not tight, I guess taut. What was that? That sounded deep. Sorry, we just heard a really loud, deep thud that shook the house. Like it shook the floor.
No idea. Can't see an accident or anything right now.
Maybe take a look out back, see if a tree fell.
Oh, okay. That's a valid idea. There are some trees that have some rather big limbs that need to go.
I mean, that was like a deep floor shutter thud. What the hell was that? That was concerning. It sounded heavy, whatever it was. We don't normally hear the guy that sets off the cannon. We're a little too far away from there. Didn't quite have the crunch of an accident. Whatever that was, though, that was a bit concerning. Alright, so I'm pulling this taut. To just try to get a thinner line out of it. Do be aware, when you pull it taut and you're putting the needle through it, you can sometimes separate what you're holding from what you're stabbing, so sometimes it'll kind of cut through.
Nothing.
That was fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was like concerningly weird. Oh my. And it's Sunday, so it's not like somebody was trimming trees like professionally, so didn't like that. Don't know what that was. I would have liked to have known what that was. It's not thundering, so it wasn't that. Very bizarre. Alright. You can kind of see, can't really see our lines coming through the back, but at least on this part it's so thin that it's really not coming through yet. Alright, do I have any more fluff that we pulled off on the edges here? I don't think so. Okay. I'm gonna try to thin this down a little bit more. So like I said, I wanna take this a little bit slower. I also want to see if I can cover up this orange that's trying to break through back here. That could be the real challenge. Because it is a tad bit noticeable. can still see it a little bit. I can, like, but then again, I'm all up in here, so you guys aren't seeing. You guys are only seeing what the camera's picking up. So you won't see every little color thread. Alright, pop that up. And that helped a little. But we are gonna need to get in here. Like right in here, I've got some orange being stubborn. All right. Let's see about maybe just hitting this one more time. So see, sometimes you can pull it and separate the strands out. Probably because those strands weren't starting to be anchored yet anyhow. Do want to try to get those little wispy guys tagged in somewhere though. Alright. Now, let's see, where are we at here? We've got a little ways to go, so I do want to tab in just a little bit. Okay, so do we have a wide shot? Alright, so the bottom's here. Bottom's here. Maybe about here-ish. I'm gonna make sure that we're still kind of in line here. So this is a little bit of a thicker dark blue section. So it might need to be a little bit of a thicker fiber line in order to see it. So we might need to come back over that. Just trying to give me a stop point. So, or a, hey, be aware of this point. Alright, so it kind of goes out into the darkness a bit here, or the darker sections, a little bit. When does it start to? So we've got this is about the bottom. This is like the top of that wave. Like this is like just at the top of it and the bottom of our more flat section. So that kind of sits kind of there, and then we come up here. So maybe about here-ish. I don't want to go too much further out from there. Again, just putting in some areas here that, you know, kind of like, okay, don't go past that point. Don't go wider than that point. So these are gonna move a little bit on us since I'm not holding it at the moment, but that should be okay. Alright, let's grab a little bit more fluff. So I'm just kind of rolling and pulling out just to try to thin that line a bit. Okay. So that comes out to about there. There's a darker section that kind of cuts in here. Might need to extend that just a little bit. As we get down over into there. So this one, this is the bottom or the top of that wave, and then this is how far out that line extends, and then it comes back in, and then this is kind of the edge there. Alright, this one kind of extends almost all the way across here. Sorry for the clicking in the background for those that are new. Husband has a mechanical keyboard and he's working on something, so it's gonna pick up. There's nothing I can do about it.
Sorry.
So just enjoy the clicking.
Enjoy the rhythmic sound of my clicking.
We don't really have room to set up a work stream room, so most of our lives at the moment are crammed into this room, so that's the way it is. Alright, peel that up. Okay. So just kind of putting in stop lines for me here and there, just so I kind of have a better idea of what we're doing. This one though, pretty thick in this part here. Hold on, I have an itch on my eyeball, or close to my eyeball. Sometimes the fuzz will get hung up around the nose pads on my glasses, and then it just sits there, and then the airflow in the house will make it twitch, and then I'll be sitting there like, why is my face itchy? Surprise, your art supplies are trying to get you. Alright. So that will probably need a bit more attention in there. Probably, it's a little bit of a thicker spot with this. Because we do have another color that's going to be... Oh, almost broke that needle again. Tell ya, I've been wanting to break these needles lately, something terrible. Not wanting to, but almost doing so, I guess, would be a better phrasing option. Alright, so let's grab some more Fluffaduff. Alright, now we will need to get our lighter blue worked in here. I am hopping around a little bit at the moment. Not too much, but a little. So we might try to get some of this lighter blue filled in here as we're going. Just so I can kind of gauge how drastically bright it's going to be. We're going to have to go real slow with that. I'd almost prefer to get this darker light blue in first, though. Or this medium. It looks super bright on the dark denim. But it's really not that bright. Like, it's this shade, but it looks like almost white going in here. A, probably because it's so thin. And B, because of the colors it's with. This is the same dark color. This is the same darker blue color that we used on the first episode of this season that we tried to felt along with. And it's amazing how different the colors look when they're put on different backgrounds. So this color going in is this color here. So, I mean, yeah, that looks, I mean, it's the same color, but when you put it on here, it looks almost white. It's not, but it almost looks like a shade of white. Alright, where am I? So we're still kind of in this section here. Again, I just want to kind of keep my fingers on this so that the line stays a little bit thin. At least that's the idea. And you can see on the other spot that I'm just kind of making sure that we're definitely connected right in there. A couple of those lines kind of vanished because they were so thin. But that's okay. We can work with that. I'll just get a couple little wispy pieces trailing off the end here. Just want to get those guys tucked in. Alright. Now, let's see here. I mean, there's definitely a lot going on. So this one goes kind of all the way over here. Kind of meanders into here. And let's see. It comes in a little bit. I'm gonna say maybe about here. So this would be maybe the edge of that area, roughly. I mean, it's not going to be the exact as Bob's. It's not. It's just not. But this will help give me an idea of where I need to be placing things, hopefully. I'm not the best at straight-ish lines, and they're going to be a little wobbly, at least for me. It's just kind of how things seem to go. We can get them sort of straight. All right. Now, alright, so this is very different than, you know, just those few lines that he had zigzagged in. That blending out of the paint, though. That's where things definitely change, and we don't quite get those effects with this. It's just because of the medium. So painting with wool, you're gonna have a few more challenges than you will with actual paint. And I've got a couple of breaks that are appearing. We're gonna have to try to figure out how to do. So we still need to get some some of our light blue in here. And we're probably going to add a little bit more bright white in a few places. Not a ton. Because, you know, we don't want it just to become one huge white surface. We have to be very deliberate with where we want the white to go. I was hoping to deal with the breaks in our background here with this color, since it's a bit darker. Don't know if it's gonna work, but we can certainly try. And I don't know if the breaks in the background are coming through, and what I mean by that is that our base color is showing through, and that's probably because, you know, we're going back over these areas and pulling fiber and things, so not a huge problem. It is fixable. We just need to lay some more color over top of it. Alright, that looks like that kind of took care of that. Or at least that particular one. Got a couple of more up in here. Alright, and I am, again, going pretty slow through this section on purpose, because it's really hard to undo. We can't really erase. We would have to lay the base color over top and basically start over that section. I don't even think a seam ripper would really help in that instance. It might just be better over patching it. Better off patching over. There we go. At that point, if you've got that big of a mistake that you're upset with. So that's what I was thinking I was gonna have to do with these clouds up here, but I don't know. They're kind of working for me now, which is what I was thinking could end up being the case. Once we started getting colors and things laid in, and we got most of the orange covered. They're not coming through quite so glaringly white. You can see the color difference on them a bit now that we've gotten all of our base felt covered. It's not reflecting back quite as much from the light, like my work light, so. I am just smoothing out the back here because we were getting a little bumpier than I want it to be. Okay. Another piece of fluff here. Again, so I'm like kind of starting in the middle of the piece of fiber and then just kind of rolling it and gently pulling, because I want a thinner line in here. I don't want this to be thick and chunky like this was. We definitely want some separation here. Or at least the attempt at separation. I mean, we're going to have some sections that are going to be a little bit bolder, a little bit thicker. That's going to happen. Alright. Kind of missed where I wanted to lay that in there, but it's alright, we can try another pass. Here in just a second. I just want to make sure that that spot is attached. Oh, great. There we go. That's a little bit better. Get that dark spot filled in there. Like, I still want it to be a little wispy so we have these dark breaks coming through in spots. So you kind of want that. Just to kind of help with the idea of light reflecting. Hi, Zuzu. What's up? Zuzu's here, guys. He's decided to visit today. Zuzu says hello. Hi, buddy. Kind of funny. I didn't stream yesterday, and he didn't stop by to say hello. What can I do for you, doggo? Are you gracing me with your presence for a reason, or did you just want attention? One day this week he came over that I wasn't streaming though, so I'm not sure if it was just coincidence. We're still trying to figure out. What his deal is with that. Alright, look like my lines are getting a little... Oh, no, they're not too bad. Alright. So again, this is probably not going to look anything like Bob's. And that's okay. Number one, it's a completely different medium. So getting it to look exactly like his is gonna be pretty tough. But it probably shouldn't look exactly dead ringer for his anyhow. Because we're just trying to learn how to kind of get this look with this medium. Basically. Just to say, hey, we can do this. Well, we're doing it, but will it be presentable at my skill level? That remains to be seen. But we're certainly giving it a valiant effort. We're trying not to be afraid. We're trying to do something new. as in this night scene, and trying to get detail and things. Wow, so there were some spots in here that I thought we had covered pretty well with our background color. But I guess because we're stabbing over them again, definitely having a lot of our orange poke through, which could be interesting as we go along here. I'm gonna grab my pencil sharpener, and I'm just gonna kind of re-smooth out our back here. You don't have to do this. This is just something that I do every so often. So try to get things laying a bit flatter and not quite so bunched up with how I do them. All right. I'm gonna grab a little bit more of our denim. So I'm using 100% acrylic yarn from Joann's, not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. But hey, if they want to talk, we can talk. Doubt that would ever happen, but you know. This is their Big Twist yarn. It's an in-house brand of theirs, and we are using the value line of it because that's what was on sale, and that's what this girl could afford. So I still have to do the yarn prep video. For you guys, and get that up on the channel. I've been pretty busy as of late, so maybe I can get that recorded on Tuesday. Like, it's not gonna take me that long to record it. Maybe 5 minutes, but it's just sitting down doing it and editing it that's where I run into my problems. It's supposed to be storming on Tuesday, so we'll see. The thunder could be a problem in the background, but then again, maybe not. It got so cold here, you guys. We were in like in the 90s and 80s, and then this cold front came through, and oh, it lived up to its name. I was freezing last night. We had turned the air off yesterday, which I'm sure the electric bill was happy about. And we had a couple windows open. It was kind of rainy and cloudy and stuff, and chilly. I was concerned for my elephant ears. It dropped to like 50 degrees, I think, was the actual low last night. And I was freezing when I woke up. I actually had to shut our window today. It's still pretty chilly. It's still in the 50s, I think. That's pretty wild. And we're slowly, painstakingly slowly, supposed to warm back up as the week goes on. But they are calling for storms this week, so I don't know how that's going to work with getting my last 2 challengers finished for stream. I've also been having a problem with this finger. I don't know what's going on, but while I was trying to get the characters in order for Wednesday's stream, my finger was swelling and I was going a little numb, so I ended up splinting my wrist last night, my splint brace. That seemed to help a little bit, so I don't know if it's just residual wrist stupidness that's going on. That hand's been a problem for me for years, so it comes and goes depending on what I've been doing, but I've been doing a lot lately, so it's probably not appreciating all the things I've been trying to do. Alright, so this got a little bit thicker in here, but it is a little bit thicker in the one that he's working on, so it should be okay. I just don't want it overly thick. I actually want to try this with some variegated yarn just to see what it's going to look like fluffed, and then felted. Like, I don't know if it's going to be too streaky or not, so I want to get some variegated. It might depend on the color. But I'm intrigued to see how that would actually end up looking. Alright, so I've got another spot here, but all that takes money. As it is, I'm trying not to throw my mouse through the window because I'm clicking and it's not registering that I clicked, and I'm like, seriously? I might have to temporarily dig out my wireless and see if I can get that one to work, even though I don't like using it that much. There was something going on with it, and that's why I stopped using it. And I can't remember what the reason was, but I saved it because it wasn't that it wasn't working, but something it was doing was annoying me. And I think I saved it because I was like, well, in a pinch, I guess I can use it in an emergency. But I can't remember what. It's definitely a lot heavier of a mouse than what I'm using now. And I kind of miss the weight of it, but also kind of not. Like, you know. But the one I'm using is so light, it feels like a toy. And I'm like, I guess that might be why I'm having problems with it now. I can't remember how long I've had it. Maybe a year? I mean, but then again, it was a $10 mouse, so get what you pay for, I guess. Look, wispy stuff. Go over there. Alright. Black fiber picks up every color, every little thing. You don't want to. Every piece of fuzz, kind of like a black t-shirt. I have a couple of nice black t-shirts. I can't wear them out of the house because of the type of fabric they are. They're like super soft and clingy, and I love them because they're so comfy. However, the type of fabric they are, every piece of animal hair in this house, the second I put it on, foop, it's I won't have even touched an animal. It's like comes out of the dryer, and I use a dryer sheet, and it's just like, nope, we're clinging to you now. There's like no amount of packing tape or lint brushes that will fix it. None. Alright, let's see. I need a closer look here. Alright, so we come in a little bit here. And we'll start to get this tapped in. Sorry, I thought I saw a piece of fuzz attached to my shirt moving when I moved my arm. I was like, what was that? It was nothing. It was just a shadow. as it usually is. Alright. Getting that all good and worked in here. Like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a slow back and forth process here. Trying to figure out where I want the things to go. Alright, there's still some orange breaks in here, but I think we'll cover that up with the lighter blue. As we get there, and then we're gonna have to come back in with our white for a few more highlights and things. Sorry, I keep thinking I've got more little fluffy guys pulled off. I keep looking for them, and I don't see them. Sometimes they cling to the sides of my pad here. So this is sort of an instance where, you know, we don't need it to be a solid cover. We kind of want the breaks in the blue. We want it to thin out. We want it to basically melt in. And you can kind of see where our water shading is starting to happen on the back in here. Sort of. And this little patch is being a little bit stubborn. About cooperating and covering over. Okay. Now I know I said I kind of wanted to get all of this color in, and I do. We might start adding a bit of our lighter blue in here. So we can kind of get a feel for how things are looking. Thus far. So, oh goodness, do we want the light blue or do we want the cornflower? That's a question. Oh, I forgot we had the cornflower. I guess we'll have to take a look at them both. Could we end up using them both? I mean... Now this is kind of what... Actually, I think we used both of these up here, maybe. So this is our light cloud color. This is probably going to look obnoxiously bright. As we get this figured out here. Let me twist this a little bit smaller. I want it a little bit brighter and a little bit thicker in here. Number one, I have an orange spot I'm trying to cover. Number two, it would probably be brighter about in here. We might need to bring in that light blue too. So yeah, you guys can't really see it, but I do have a little bit of orange. There you go, now you can see it. I have a little bit of orange poking through right in there, so that's what I'm trying to cover up now. Might take a couple of passes here. And that's okay. Because this spot would be a brighter section anyhow. I'm not really sure how I feel about this blending in yet. I'm sorry, I thought I had another piece that I had pulled off, and when I moved it I thought it went flying. I won't see it now, so. Okay. Alright, now there is this section in here that is a little bit brighter. See what this looks like once we get this kind of worked in and tightened up. Because the colors shift a little bit back to their original shade once you start tapping them in a little bit. Which is why I'm curious about a variegated yarn. How much of a muddy mess that would look. I mean, it might not, but I'm curious. Alright. So I won't really be able to get a good handle on this color coming in just yet. And it definitely is adding a little something like over in here. Alright, that's getting a little lumpy here. So I'm just gonna try to smooth this out. And it's getting a little lumpy because of the layers and the fine lines going in. It's gonna happen. I'm just trying to minimize the lumpiness, which seems to help it a little bit. Alright, so I can see a little bit of a brightness there. Alright, so I'm just kind of looking at the final one a bit here. Trying to figure out where we want things and stuff to go. Like his final piece. So like I said, he does a lot of blending in this water section. And that's not something we can do with fiber. You can't just like wave a brush over it and it's gonna blend out like paint. They are a bit different. Oh, for my Planet Zoo people, if any of you guys are here, we did manage to get the VOD up on YouTube without a problem. So that is up on the channel from Friday. I don't really know what was going on, if that was just a weirdness, if the bots flipped their shit and it happened to more people. I don't know. When I tried to Google it, I wasn't seeing anything. It was like later in the day, so who really knows? Things seem to be okay with it now. Don't know if we're gonna have to change our stream day for World of Warcraft this week. It might get shifted to Thursday. I don't know yet. It depends on the weather. So if it gets shifted to Thursday, then we'll just do Parkitect on Wednesday. It makes my catch-up schedule a little bit more hectic for when I need to get things done, but I'd rather not risk playing a challenge character that can't die in a thunderstorm, so... Actually, what happened the other night, I was trying to work on getting one of them leveled, and it started to storm, and I'm like, ugh. It's like, I guess I should get off of this character. So that was a bit of a problem. I mean, our lights never blinked, but I never know with our internet if it's gonna suddenly misbehave somewhere down the line. And while our power doesn't usually go out, it has a couple of times. I mean, you know, you don't know if it was lightning real bad near the substation that we're connected to. I think that got hit by lightning once or twice. And we had a telephone pole like just fall down with no warning that I'm aware of. The day after a windstorm, it just collapsed. I don't know if termites got to that sucker. I don't know what happened, but it just fell. Nobody hit it. And it started a fire in somebody's front yard, so they had to cut the power while they were dealing with that. The stupid part is we didn't even hear it fall, and it was like 4 houses down. 5 houses down. Alright, let's see. Okay, so can we see? Kind of. This kind of feels like a crown drawing. Crown. With the texture that we're getting at the moment, but that's all right. Okay, so let's get this guy worked into here. And when I showed that piece up against the camera there a minute ago, it might have been a little blurry. If it was, I apologize. This camera doesn't have a manual focus. I'm sorry, it doesn't have an autofocus. It has manual focus, which is odd. I've never seen a webcam that you have to manually turn to focus. I find that fascinating. Although half the time when we did art before, I would turn off autofocus because my hands would move around so much that it would be blurry half the time. So I'm just like, I'd rather my hand be blurry than what we're actually working on. I'm not thrilled with how much orange is poking through here. I'm really not. That's kind of what I'm trying to deal with here at the moment. Without it being a little too bright and obvious. I mean, we still potentially have 2 more colors coming in on top of here, but they're even lighter, so I don't know if they're gonna do the trick. I mean, one can hope, certainly. You guys aren't seeing it. It's not close enough to the camera for the camera to see it. I definitely see it. But then again, I am sitting directly over top of it. Okay. So. Alright, let's take a bit more of this. And we're just gonna stretch this out a little bit more. And I kind of want this to maybe sit about here. Wow, that is really breaking in there. That's kind of surprising. Could be because I'm pulling the yarn a little bit, so it's being a little bit tighter going in. That's probably what it is. I'm probably creating my own problem. I would not be surprised in the slightest if I was causing my own problems here. very possible. Okay, I'm just gonna try to even this section out. Oh, you can feel the lines on the back of this, like all the divots and stuff. Okay, let me grab our sky blue. Alright, I've got to designate a spot for you, so we don't get our blues confused. Alright, Marvin, you sit with the sky blue, okay? Alright, Marvin's gonna... Marvin. Everyone, Marvin, everyone. Marvin's gonna babysit our sky blue. Now this, I think, yeah, that's the light color that we used on our clouds there. Alright. So we'll get this worked in here. Now this is not white. It looks white, especially against the white areas. It's not. But now that I'm looking at this, I'm not sure, because it is coming off as so white. If coming back in and doing a white highlight on it is going to do anything, this might have to be our highlight color. So we have a little bit of white here, right? We had that white line down ahead of time. At least I thought it was white. It looks cream almost now against this. This is definitely sky blue. You can see it's blue when it's against itself. Just the blue dye is so subtle. Alright. So it's kind of pretty bright, almost across the entire horizon line. Almost. I probably shouldn't have been quite that far over there, but so putting that in, what that says to me a couple of things. It says to me that we need to grab a little bit of white and see what that's going to look like against this. And see if it's noticeably highlighted. If it's not, then our sky blue is suddenly going to become our highlight color in all of this. I don't know. That looks pretty much the same. Alright then. Okay, so we're gonna continue on with our cornflower then. Filling it in this section up here, where it needs to be, and then we'll come back and highlight with that sky blue. Fascinating. Well, I mean, you know, things don't always work out the way you think they're going to. Alright, so let me take our white and we'll shove that back into that one's bag for now. Okay. That was our sky blue. No. This is the sky blue. This is the cornflower. Now I'm getting myself confused. Okay. Alright, so we can get a bit more of this tapped in here. Alright, so this whole section will probably take quite a bit of fussing, just warning you guys ahead of time. Alright, so got a bit of an orange break. Well, that orange break is actually showing up on the camera. So we are gonna kind of try to come in here and repair him as best as we can. So I kind of want some of the dark spots popping through here and there. Like, I don't want it solid covered. We are trying to pull off that light reflecting. Section in here. I might need to add a little bit more of our denim in this section here, because this section, it's a little light, but it's not as light as we're taking it. So, like I said, this is going to be a bit of playing around with the color, trying to get what we want where. And this edge will get cleaned up when we're all done. So don't worry too much about that just yet. Sorry, I saw some other tiny minor breaks trying to happen up in there. kind of thinking, let's just hit that up now. We'll just kind of tamp everything down up in here and see what we can get to have happen. Sorry, I did pull that out a bit because that was a thick section of blue that I was not real keen on shoving in there. Alright, grab our sharpener again. Alright, I don't know how late we're going today because I do have to feed the husband tonight, so.
I'm in no rush.
Well, when you're starting to get hungry, you let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, this was our cornflower, so I want this one. Alright, so we'll stick that over there. I mean, do we want to double this up again? I don't know if we should. Alright. So, this is our light blue. Believe it or not, it looks white. It's not. I might add a little bit of the cornflower on top of that just to kind of tone that down a little bit. Alright. So that's looking okay. Grab a bit more of this color. And let's place that in here. So it's a little bit more solid up in here. That shouldn't be too much of a problem there. We can be a little bit smaller. Remember, when you go to clean your edges up and everything, if it's a little wonky on the edges, a little uneven, you can always throw a mat on it if you go to frame it. And the mat will cover the wonky edges to a degree. Alright. If you do this with the handle, if you have a handle, be very careful. Keep your face away from it. Do not do anything stupid. This is, well, I mean, this is probably stupid, but be very careful. Don't let children do this without supervision. These needles are very, very, very sharp. They have little divots cut into them. They're kind of like a barbed needle. They've got these notches in there to grab the fiber to shove it through the layers. This is not a toy. And kids should not be doing this unless they are definitely supervised. Hell, I should be not be doing this without supervision, but the husband's over here, so, you know.
Yeah, I'm here for the hospital run if needed.
Yeah, I've been good about it, though. We haven't had to do an emergency room run to get the needle out of my hand. I'm not saying it's never going to happen, but I've been really good so far. For me, because I'm a klutz. So... make sure you're paying attention. There's a reason I shove this into my pad if I have to put it down a lot of the time. I try to do that so I know where it is. So I don't try to grope and grab for it underneath the edge of my felt here where I can't see what direction the needle is facing, so I don't grab the needle. And that way if it's shoved in here, it can't roll off my desk and stuff. And if you're going to be stopping for a while and walking away, disassemble your needle. Or put the cover on it, however your handle is set up. So that way nobody who doesn't know what you're doing comes by and starts fussing with things they shouldn't be fussing with. There's a reason we have these ugly leather things on our fingers. It's for safety. It is still possible to stab through them, but you don't get hurt as badly with them. And maybe mine just aren't the best quality, and that's why I was able to stab through them, but you definitely want some sort of finger protection. No matter how careful you are, misstabs happen. You definitely want them on. I know they're a little sweaty and tight and uncomfortable, but that's better than having to go to the emergency room, get a tetanus shot, get stitches for something that you could have prevented. Okay, now, like we have that black splotch there, I kind of want that covered up. At least to a degree. I mean, that's a bit of a bright splat or splotch there now, so we might come back in with the denim and just kind of try to thin that out a little bit. Right now I kind of have an idea of what we're looking for in this, or what I'm looking for in this spot, so yeah, let go. I'm mixing colors. Let's not do that. Let's not do that, because then they get all jumbled, and once you start mixing them, it's kind of hard to get them separated from one another. I'm using one of my unguarded fingers to kind of help hold this against the guarded one, only because I'm not anywhere near the needle. Like if I was like up here, it would be both of these fingers, but since I'm back here, that would be one hell of an epic misstab. Oh, there go the doggos. My mom must have finished making dinner. as they thunder out to see if there's anything for them. Alright, so I just want to kind of get our colors fleshed out more before we start dropping in highlights too much. We're gonna try to hold off on the sky blue for right now, as we get this section worked in here. Alright. This is still our cornflower. You can tell when I stretch it out tight, but it's not the same shade as that other blue. So I hope everybody had a good weekend and that you are doing okay today. And I hope you all end up having a good week. We're not leaving just yet, I'm just saying. Happy to think about it at the moment, so. In this brain, we say the thoughts as they happen because they may never come back. And it might have been a point I was trying to make, but this is a very busy train station in this head, so as the thoughts roll in, we have to say them before they leave. A lot of those trains rolling in are express trains. All right. So I've got a bit more orange trying to pop through in there. And I don't want to lose too much of our dark areas, so I am trying to be mindful of that. I am trying to keep an eye on where he is, and keep an eye on the finished. Oh, I'm gonna break this needle. I'm trying to keep an eye on the finished piece too that I have in the corner. It's really tiny. You guys probably can't see it that well. At least it's tiny on my screen because of all of the windows I have open that I need to keep an eye on. But again, this is not a step you guys have to do. It's just I'm getting bumpy on the front, so just trying to even out things, see where we're at, see where I need a little bit more color coming in. Seeing if we've got any problem spots brewing. Like up in here is a little bit of a problem spot, but we'll see, we'll see. In the end, it might not be. Let's grab some more of, oh, we used all that, okay. Let's grab some more of our cornflower. And I'm just gonna twist this guy out and get him a little bit more in order here. Get that little wispy tail wrapped around if we can. Just because he was a little too wispy, I think. Alright, so probably up against our bright line in here. And I don't have that much pressure on this. I have a little bit, but I'm not like squishing down on it hard. I'm just kind of resting my finger on it. At the moment. Now I just have the slightest gentle hold on it. So we might grab a little bit more of our dark denim. Well, denim, not really dark denim. I think this might be the dark denim of our regular denim. And kind of intermingle it over here just a bit. We get away from our horizon line here. So just kind of making sure everybody in there is good and tucked in. Alrighty. So let's grab a little bit more of this guy. I want to at least get this section to where I'm happy with it for the most part. We'll see. Like I said, this is going to be a lot of, you know, playing back and forth, shifting the colors around a little bit. Trying to get things laid in a way that we're happy with. Because while I'm really unsure of how the lower half of this is going to go, I think I'm starting to get a little more confident back up in here. Because we're kind of trying to do the post blending. We're trying to make it look like after he already blended everything out. Because like I said, this isn't oil paint, and we can't make that kind of magic happen with this. We can make our own unique kind of magic happen, but not exactly the magic that he's got going, so. Alright. So this is our cornflower shade again. Work on getting that worked in. I'll probably take another strand of our denim and kind of like put it into here. And I'm not going to be too fussed, or I'm going to try not to be too fussed about our horizon line here, because that's going to come back and get hit up with our sky blue. As we move forward. Okay. Now, so I mean, we have a little bit of our denim in here. I'll probably end up lightening that just a little bit, or breaking that up just a little bit. Because that is a little thick for that section. It'll probably get hit with some highlight though, so it won't be too bad. But I am trying to work with all of our colors together right now, just so we can kind of get a feel for where things are going to lay in here. This is just like stuck to my finger now. Like I wasn't really pulling on it that much. Alright, just trying to get our loose fibers tapped in here. Okay, pop that up. Alright, so we're gonna... Hi Marvin, I need this. Thank you. You can chill with the rest of that there. Alright. So this needs a little bit of a thicker touch in here. So we did have to adjust that. Because I had some orange that was being unruly in there. It was absolutely refusing to cooperate. So I am going a little bit slower with this, mostly because it's my first like moonscape waterscape, nighttime waterscape. So it's sort of an experiment for me to work out how I want things laid in here. I'm just trying to, I've got some little wispy fuzzes, so I'm just trying to get those attached. Alright, so I've got a small break in here that I think I want some of our cornflower to be in, because be about in the lighter section there. Like, I know we want some breakage, but it was a little much in an area that's gonna be a little bit thicker, I think, of our more solid reflections. And we'll probably be bringing in a lot more of our denim on this side, because like this section from here to here, in this section all the way across, is going to be a little bit thicker, little bit more solid. Not drastically solid, but thicker than down into here, I think. Or at least, you know, out to the edges and stuff. And by thicker, I mean more solid, not as many breaks in them. Not as wispy. I see a little fiber tail up there, then I don't know why I'm seeing that, so we're just going to tuck that in. It doesn't seem to be loose, it seems to be attached to something up there. Alright, now, excuse me Marvin, we need a bit more of that. Thank you, sir. Marvin, our lawn flamingo. Our desk lawn flamingo. Haven't decided if I'm gonna try to put those in the shop. They would be cute. I need more. I need more pink stuff. I don't have any. I don't have enough. I have a light pink. It's not the right shade. The light pink I have is that I have a lot of, is that molted color in his wings, and I kind of want him to be a little bit more pink. A little less baby pink and a little more pink pink. Does this go all the way? Yeah, it kind of does, actually. Hey, can you preheat the oven?
Yep.
Sorry, it takes a little bit for our oven to get going, so. And I'm actually starting to get hungry myself. Alrighty, roll. Okay. So I think on this side edge here should probably be a little bit more dark fluff. So let me just go ahead and do that for those that may have just come in. We're following the Bob Ross Season 3 Joy of Painting tutorial. Blue Moon, I believe is what we're calling it. There's the link to the full tutorial with sound over on the Bob Ross YouTube channel. And instead of following along with the oil paint, we are using fiber. So a lot of people were needle felting along instead of painting. So we're painting with wool instead of paint. And some people use roving, R-O-V as in Victor, I-N-G. That's just basically your untwisted wool. I am using acrylic yarn. It is an option for this style of needle felting, at least. And you do have to do a bit more prep work with it before you can felt with it. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but if you don't want it to look like lines everywhere and stuff, it's probably better to. You'll probably have a better result if you fluff it first. So you basically prep it using a sticker, S-T-I-C-K-E-R, pet grooming brush. You're basically brushing out your strands of yarn that you cut to lengths that you can manage well enough to get the twisting out and to turn it to its pre-yarned state. I'm using this piece, I forgot. Which is why I have it in Ziploc bags, because I was just like, oh, well, you know, I wasn't sure how much I would need for any particular session. And it does take a little bit of time to prep as many colors as I may need in a session. So I just took some sandwich Ziploc bags since I can reuse them and they're closed. And that's what I have the space to store as well. Space is at a premium here, so I have them clipped to a curtain that I use to close off my art area. And I feel like a cotton candy vendor at times, or a candy floss vendor, whatever you know it as. And because I've got all these Ziploc bags of all these colors just hanging up. So it's kind of funny at times. Although some of the colors I got, I don't really need that much of. So I don't know if I'll have to ever buy that color again for quite some time. Alright, let me trim that back. I mean, that whole section is going to get trimmed back anyway. Like, this whole orange section is going to get lopped off, but just to get it kind of out of the way for now. Okay, well, I don't think I need this anymore, so you can go back into there. Sorry for the crinkling. Alright, and if your strands are a little bit longer than you necessarily want to work with, you can just go ahead and trim them. It's just yarn fluff, you can trim it. That's totally fine. Alright, so let's get a little bit more of this kind of tapped in here. The dogs hear the husband in the kitchen. We're making pizza tonight, so he is prepping his toppings. I don't have anything extra to put on mine tonight, so it's just gonna be straight up cheese, and that's okay with me. Some mozzarella and some Parmesan happening on that. That's why I was late starting today. Well, one of the reasons I was late starting. I slept late, and we might be moving stream start times back a little bit because of the sleep pattern that I've been in recently. So that way I don't appear to be as late as I actually am. But I had to make our pizza dough. And that took me about, I don't know, 20 minutes. Because I had to let the yeast rise, or the yeast do its yeasty things. Oh, hi friends. Let's not do that. Oh, I've got fluff flying everywhere all of a sudden. Okay. So you can see as you're fibering along here and stabbing your felt, your edges will get a little out of sorts here. I don't know why I've got such a big gap there. There was stuff stabbed in there, I thought. It's a little strange. Alright, so we're not doing half bad here. Let me actually take a moment and look at this here. Sometimes you don't actually see that you're getting carried away until you take a moment and just look. Alright, so yeah, so we're gonna have to start bringing in some more of our denim color in through here a little bit. Maybe just a strand or two of the cornflower into here. And then we'll start filling this in a little bit more solidly with our denim. This color. We want to start coming in a little bit more here. This we want to be a little bit not as filled in. Like, I don't want to go past this point in this section. And this is going to be the top of that that wave part at the bottom that I still have to figure out how in the hell we're going to handle it. I'm ignoring the stuff below it for the moment, because that's gonna change. He's gonna do some stuff down there with the shoreline, and there's all kinds of reflections and whatnot, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to pull those off. So I'm a little, I don't know. We'll see. But first goals are to get this up in here, looking pretty good. Lay that back down so you guys can see where we're at. So if we take off the sides here, we're not doing too bad. Like, we have to not look at the orange. The orange is distracting and things, and makes things look more strange than they need to be. So yeah, definitely want to get some more denim in there. And I haven't put in all of our highlights in this section yet. I want to get the other two colors in before we start fussing with that. And I just tapped my finger with the needle like I said we shouldn't do. So, damn it. I felt it. I'm not bleeding, but I definitely felt it. Alright, so I think we're going to pause there for today. Let's see, who is streaming? Well, who can we go visit? Who can we go visit? I don't know who's going here. John, we can go see John. I haven't visited John in forever. I never seem to catch him doing anything. So we'll go see Terwinkle. J Palm 316. Terwinkle, he was known as primarily, and but his name's also John. So John Terwinkle John. Alright, we'll go see him. I haven't popped in on him in quite some time. I never managed to catch him. He's in a different time zone than me. So you guys have a great night. Thanks for popping in and hanging out with me for a while. And I will see you on Wednesday.